I think we've all had that feeling. You open up the eShop looking for something new to play, and it's just a wall of the same games. You know, a few big names you've already seen 1,000 times, the same ones looping on sale, and about 50, well, let's call them anime games, but we're not going to even mention those. The rest then, pretty much shovelware city. But hidden in that mess, buried somewhere between Pixel Horse Survival Simulator 4 and Dungeon Bikini Tactics EX, are some genuinely brilliant games. Smart, weird, stylish stuff that slipped through the cracks. Little marketing, less coverage, no hype, just creativity quietly doing its thing. So today we're going to be digging those up. These are 5 Nintendo Switch eShop games you've probably never played, but absolutely should. And hey, look, if you do find something in here you want to check out, consider subscribing. It helps smaller channels like mine more than you'd think. Also, let me know your favorite hidden gems in the comments below because I'm always looking for stuff I've missed. Eastern Exorcist is honestly the reason this whole list exists today. I've been playing it recently, and while it's definitely not flawless, I've had a blast, and I can barely find any coverage for it out there. It's a 2D side-scrolling action game. It lands somewhere between Muramasa and Sekiro, but basically you've got deliberate strikes, stamina-based dodges, punishing parries. It's that same kind of slow, Souls-like rhythmic combat, and visually it is hand-drawn in this stunning ink brush style. It makes every fight feel like you're just slicing through a curse scroll. It even has a decent little story tucked in. You can play as an exorcist or a half-demon on a redemption arc, and the narrative's leaning into that whole, like, who's really the monster angle. It's just dark, mythological. It's a little bit more reflective than I expected, I'll admit that. The world, though, itself as well is just packed with these grotesque enemies. Snow apes, corrupted birds, twisted tree demons, and yeah, they hit hard. In fact, boss fights, I will say, can spike fast and not always in a good way. They feel a little unbalanced at times. Controls as well can start to wobble when things get hectic. But yeah, with this one, honestly, it's short, it's intense, and yes, it's a little bit janky, but the atmosphere more than makes up for it. Also, what really surprised me was the depth. Every skill you unlock comes with its own upgrade tree. I really like that because it gives you a lot of room to shape your build and experiment with new playstyles. So yeah, like if you into kind of like stylish action games, I feel, yes, a little bit raw, but incredibly rewarding. This one, worth a look. In Stars and Time is a game I didn't expect to hit me as hard as it did. It's a black and white time loop RPG where you play as Sifrin. You're trapped in a repeating day alongside a party, trying to stop a tyrant king from freezing the world in time. Now that premise alone is strong, but it's the execution that surprised me. The combat uses a kind of rock, paper, scissors system. Now that is simple at kind of top level, but it's layered with bonuses and combo mechanics that really evolve as the loop continues. Visually then, it's all minimalist pixel art, no colours, just clean black and white, and that works. The stripped back look mirrors the tone, quiet, a bit somber and reflective. But the heart of it is the cast. Each loop you get new dialogue, new fragments of who these characters are, and slowly you build this emotional connection to the group. They become like friends. Now I'll be honest, obviously the repetition is intentional, but at times it can drag a tiny bit. Dialogue loops, repeated battles, again, part of the structure, but that won't be for everyone. Now, thankfully though, there are solid quality of life options in here. Fast forwarding, warping, that eases the friction when you've seen the same hallway 10 times. But if you are generally someone who likes a slow burn story with real emotional payoff, where repetition is the experience, this game is going to stick with you. It's just smart, it's weird, it's brilliant. Cobalt Core might look bright and friendly on the surface, but underneath it's one of the smartest roguelikes I've ever played on Switch. It is a tactical turn-based deck builder. Yes, I know, there's lots of those. But this one's different. You're piloting a ship with a crew of animal folk, dodging missiles, managing energy, and playing cards to attack, block, reposition, or manipulate enemy patterns. But it's not just card combat, as you can see there. The whole thing's really built around movement. You can literally shift your ship left or right to avoid those incoming attacks. It's fast, it's reactive, it's way more strategic than it first appears, and every run here, unlike many in the genre, it feels like a little puzzle to solve. What I really like as well is each crew has their own card pool. You know, there's also different ship layouts, and building the right synergy between ship and different characters, super satisfying. On top of that then as well, you start to piece together little, let's call it flashes of backstory through dialogue, flashbacks and interactions. It's not front and center, admittedly, but it adds some needed personality. Now I will say here, it's not the hardest roguelike out there. I do want to put that up front. If you're coming from like Slay the Spire's highest ascensions, for example, this will be a breeze. But it more than makes up for that with charm and mechanical depth. So if you're into roguelikes, this one, recommended. The Case of the Golden Idol is a game that quietly rattled my brain in the best way. It's a deduction-based mystery where you're given a series of frozen crime scenes, each one packed with silent figures and strange details, and it's really on you to figure out exactly what happened. There's no narration, no flashing hints, just clues, contradictions, and a blank notebook to fill in. It plays almost like detective improv. You click through rooms, you gather names and motives, you slot them into the blanks, and slowly unravel the often absurd chain of events. And somehow, it all holds together. Every solved scene makes you feel like a genius, but only after you've stared at a poisoned teacup for 10 minutes, wondering if you missed something obvious. The art style then, it is pixelated, but weirdly expressive, a lot of detail in here. I think if I had to summarize the way it looks, it's kind of like Return of the Obra Dinn by way of Monty Python. Basically, there's like a slightly twisted sense of humor running through everything. Exaggerated deaths, smug faces mid-scheme, someone caught red-handed in the most dramatic pose imaginable. Basically, it's clever, it's darkly funny, and it respects your ability to figure things out on your own, and that's my favorite thing about it, you know. If you like the idea of a mystery game that doesn't hold your hand, and let's face it, pretty much all of them do in this generation, yeah, this game, a must-play. Lorelei and the Laser Eyes doesn't explain itself and doesn't really care if you're ready. You arrive at a strange European hotel, alone, invited for something called The Project. No tutorial, no map, no clear goal, just locked doors, cryptic riddles, shifting camera angles, and the creeping feeling that everything around you means something. It's not really about escaping or anything, it's about decoding. Every puzzle here feeds into another. Number patterns, rearranged paintings, secret doors hidden behind logic you won't even recognize until probably hours later. There's no filler here, just layers waiting to be cracked. The black and white aesthetic then feels kind of clinical at first, but the longer you play, the more it kind of unnerves you, and it starts to introduce red a lot. The camera work as well, it's subtle, but constantly off. It's zooming in, it's twisting perspectives, it's making you question what you're looking at. So I do want to say this, it's not horror exactly, but I wouldn't say it's comfortable either. Now the story's here as well, somewhere. It's kind of fragmented across, let's call them unreliable memories. But this isn't a game about exposition, it's about tension, paranoia, and the thrill of solving the impossible. So yeah, if I had to describe this one, it's a psychological puzzle box wrapped in shifting logic, and it's styled like something the late great David Lynch would have dreamed up if he had designed games. You know, slow, dense, proudly strange. And honestly with this one, I'm going to cut it off there because the less you know going in, the better, because this game is a masterpiece. And that's the list. 5 weird, smart, completely under the radar games that deserve way more attention than they've had. No real viral coverage, no trending hashtags, just a handful of devs making something bold and quietly brilliant. Now, if you spotted something you're curious to check out, consider hitting subscribe. Again, it helps smaller channels like mine way more than you'd think. And if you've got your own hidden gem, drop it in the comments. I'm always on the hunt for overlooked experiences. Alright, so thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Cheers all.